Sekali SMS Zaki kat depan, tengah interview.
The Business Lab.
Hi everyone, welcome listeners to another episode of the Business Lab by SMCCI. And today we would like to thank our sponsors for today's episode. Venue sponsor ID Entity by and Craft by 3, and also of course made possible with the media magic of Studio 5 Corp. So Studio 5 Corp ni yang buat all this editing and everything, yang menyenangkan kita punya tugasan untuk segala episod-episod The Business Lab kita. Okay, kalau tak kita pun pingsan nak kena edit everything. Okay, so anyway, today I'm very excited to have our guest today, friend, abang, and someone who is very well respected and popular. Very popular, and also I'm very inspired by him. Both his professional and also his commitment to the community. I think we have a lot to hear from him. And recently dia appear dekat Detik. I think if I'm not wrong, I think he will share with you more. So today I will introduce you. Actually tak payah introduce lah, semua dah kenal dia. Abdul Samad. Cakap lah hello sikit.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Macam very serious.
Thank you for inviting me for this opportunity to share.
Okay, so Abdul Samad ni, he is a very dedicated union leader, and he actually holds multiple hats. Sometimes I pun dah confused actually dia buat apa, pasal banyak sangat dia buat, you know. So there, I don't want to get it wrong. I have to read it properly, you know. So dedicated union leader, and he do advocacy work for workers' right. He's also, kalau salah cakap he also served as a general secretary of the Union of Power and Gas Employees, representing over 6,000 members. SMCCI members kira 400 je tau, dia represent 6,000. Okay. Additionally, Abdul Samad is in his second term as Vice-President of NTUC, Central Committee. Betul and the highest council of union leaders from various industry, elected every 4 years. Betul Okay. Perfect. Okay. But he also holds a daily job. So bukan itu saja kerja dia, tapi dia pun ada dia punya own full-time job. So his daily job as a senior principal technical officer at SPPG. Apa tu SPPG?
SPPG is short form of SP Power Grid Limited. It's one of the subsidiary of SP Group, whereby we Singaporeans enjoy having a lighted country, got lights, got gas flow for you to cook at home. Nobody will realize what we do in SP until you come across a situation whereby there's a power interruption. Then suddenly you remember, what is SP doing? Why there is a blackout?
So when there's a problem, people ingat lah.
Then people will remember us.
I see. So that's your daily.
My daily job is actually going around doing consultation, right? Because going to consultation, there are construction work there where it will affect the power cables and gas pipe. So my job is to go down and to educate the contractor plus the government agency in the course of construction work. They should make sure that the power cable and gas pipe is protected so that they don't damage. Because once there's a damage, it will cause disruption of supply.
I see. Interesting. So that's your full-time job.
Yes.
So how do you find time to juggle the other things that you do for the community then?
Okay, so you actually need a very enlightened employer. I'm very grateful to have an employer that supports this work. So for me to take care of, not just in the beyond the workplace, right? Even at workplace, I take care of group of members in SP Group itself, which is about 4,000. Right, so 4,000, whether you're from technician, technical officer, engineer, even up as high as CEO, is my union member. So beyond SP Group, like we share, I'm also General Secretary of Union of Power and Gas. That's where generation company comes in. Smoco Power Station. That is where you generate electricity. My job in the SP Group is actually the business is to transfer electricity from the generation to the consumer. People like us like enjoying a bright office. You can imagine that if today was suddenly there's a blackout. But that is part when people will remember where is SP.
I see.
When there's a tariff high, why SP got tariff high? But nobody will complain when tariff go down.
Right. So how do you position yourself being an employee, but at the same time you're also advocating for employees, right? And then you are also serving your boss at the SPPG. So how do you juggle?
Positioning, I think, firstly start from me as an individual, how I carry out my job as a senior principal
Right.
technical officer.
Yeah.
Because once you deliver on your job, how you represent your members or even your management, your credibility is there already. They know that you are men that don't just talk, but you get the job done. So once, if your job is deliver, whatever that you advocate for your workers, your bosses will not scold you. You must be seen to be fair, transparent. Then they will actually hear what you want.
Tapi sekarang masih ada boss yang scold employee ke?
They still have, masih ada lagi. Cuma kita kalau tak complain kat union, tak tahu lah.
Right.
There are also union leaders, scold bosses also have.
Ada juga.
Ada.
So these union leaders, right?
Yeah.
So like yourself, right? So you guys will usually attend to these kind of problems between employees and employees.
Yes.
But you guys will try to find common grounds.
Find not necessarily a common ground. You must see who is actually caused this kind of inconvenience or confusion, right? We will not hold back because for us union, workers first.
Of course.
Yeah, right? Workers first. And that workers first does not mean defending workers at all costs. To me, it's simple. Even though workers first, but the facts must be on the table. If let's say workers first, but the workers do wrong, I will not hold back to scold the worker, even though my member.
So you will actually filter it accordingly.
So when you do this kind of representation, that is where your boss look at you, kind of leadership you hold.
That's true.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So so far what is the current in the landscape right now, right? Like what are the challenges that macam common among employees and employees yang spike argument or unhappiness?
Actually, there are a lot. Usually, the time come when the appraisal performance bending, employees not happy. We also need to do our job as a union leader. Where is the line to cross? When you're not happy with your performance bending, what is your line as a union? So for me, it's simple. I'm a union leader. My job is to ensure there is a fair, transparent conversation to tell the employer and the employee where is his gaps. Then until if he cannot prove, then he has to do something to the bending. Else, because I'm a union leader, I'm not his supervisor. I cannot be biased even though I represent that worker. Because the supervisor has every right to assess what level of performance the employee does, not me. Yeah, my job is to ensure it's fair done. Everyone must be given equal opportunity to excel.
I understand. So far, based on your experience lama ni, I think as a union leader, maybe you can share one scenario or incident that have happened before yang macam memang it is terrible lah, kan macam tak boleh, susah nak solve for employees. Macam what is the unfairness that happened before to employees based on your experience?
Actually, there is no specific any unfairness. It depends on situation. Minus appraisal is one. Sometimes employers very calculative to give the workers their rights in terms of bonus. So as a union leader, our job is to make sure when the company makes, you must reward.
Of course.
Right? If you don't reward, then we will make sure we will skin to the last dollar. Because that is a job of a union leader. Union leader, they don't just put a number on the table, I want 4 months, 5 months. There are instances whereby companies say, I can't pay you that much. But what then you have to prove? Because we take guidance from the national wages guidelines. We will ask their financial statement.
So they are allowed. I mean,
under the law, we are allowed to ask them.
Right. I think many people don't know this. I think the reason we have this podcast with someone, I think it's also important for both employees and employees to understand the role of union leaders and why NTUC is in this, doing this. It's not to make things difficult.
Correct.
I think many people will see union leaders and macam employees, some employees hate union leaders. I think you know that for sure. I'm just being honest. But I think if they were to understand how you guys come in to ease everything, make it easier for everyone, I think it's actually a good, a valuable thing for employers as well, which most employers doesn't know.
I fully support, because employers sometimes think union leaders as an opposition party, which is not.
Which I thought so too. First. Yeah.
Because actually union, some we create add value to the employer. I think there are a lot of schemes there. What is the role then as a union leader? So what I actually practice in my industry, whenever there's going to be any change in work process, in business model, I will assign one leader to be there. I always believe a union leader must be a driver to transformation. not a disruptor. And because this is what, if we want to ensure that we take care of workers, notwithstanding all the basic needs like salary, bonus, getting them ready for the future is the key fundamental thing. Getting them ready to get a better returns is also important. And that is why I always will assign some union leaders, sit there, understand what needs to be done, comes back and explain. Be the first one to test out any changes. And this is the part of the union that only we see lately people start to see where the unions comes about. But it doesn't mean that when an employer does wrong, union will be seen as silent. There are certain channels that we go. Yeah, the difference in us in a peaceful industrial environment, because union leaders like myself, we have direct links to the government partners.
Of course.
We call tripartism, and that is where we solve matters.
Right.
We don't need to show industrial action. We just need to know, provided we know that what we are going through is factual. That is always I remind my leaders. If it's factual, don't be afraid. Go all out.
I think the most important thing for anybody who wants to venture and go out and do their own business is to understand that there is no substitute to hard work. Hard work comes first. Everything else comes second. Because we do know that people view business owners as kurang boss. You guys are bosses. You guys drive nice cars and you guys stay in nice places. Yeah, but you don't understand the struggles to get there. I personally tell myself this: do or do not. There's no try. Courtesy of Yoda.
So I have a few questions for you, but I think the first one, the upcoming announcement, the flexible
work arrangement,
FWA. So it's some employers are commenting. And I think as much as employers wants to allow that, which is good, because I think even in SMCCI we actually practice 3 days in office and 2 days work from home. And I think it's the reason being we still practice this post-COVID. I think it's because we also have to understand, and I prefer my staff to have a breather. And I think not like every day pukul 9 nak kena sampai ke office. So 2 days breather, and I think closer to their family. Some of them have kids, and it's also nice that their family knows what they are doing.
Yes.
So I think it's a very good relationship for family to see, oh ni sebenarnya suami aku buat, oh ni sebenarnya isteri aku buat, ni anak aku buat. So I think it's quite interesting for them to see. So we still practice that. But I think having on a national level that they want to have it macam not compulsory lah, tapi to be to
1st December.
Correct. 1st December. So they really want us to follow through that, and they encourage that. What is your take on that? Whether macam takut employee macam take advantage, or what is your take on that?
So I have a few schools of thought on flexible work arrangement. Firstly, we have to see the existing practice in the company itself between employer and employee. You have to hand to heart as an employee, you ask yourself, is your boss now flexible to you? Right? The flexible work arrangement is a guide. Because we know there are employers out there who does not practice, but we must also understand why. Sometimes the business model does not allow them to do so.
Agree.
Right? Flexible work arrangement doesn't mean I work 2 days, 3 days at home. End of the day, we hear from the recent parliament where MOS Gun said, it is not about less days, right? It is not about less hours even. It is about how you go around getting the job done, continue to be productive with a better outcome.
That's a very good point.
That's a my understanding of flexible work arrangement. Because flexible work arrangement, we must always bear in mind, the outside can come in. Like outsiders from the third world can do our job.
Right.
But have we ever thought, why can we not do their job then? It's in the European country. In today's remote world, with Wi-Fi, you can actually connect to the global world. We should not be worried too much on external disrupting. Why not we innovate and think, why don't we go out and get opportunities from work outside that can be done via here? That is my interpretation of flexible work arrangement. So in the companies that I represent, honestly, you ask me today, I've not read details of flexible work arrangement because what I see in my industry now, it's really flexible.
Right. Of course.
Flexible work arrangement is only when the bosses are rigid.
Yeah.
Right? They see the want to be done, but I think it has to do both ways. Why? End of the day is what is the outcome that your worker can provide you. What is the outcome that your worker can drive? What does it then drive to your business model?
So this is where we have to find the common grounds lah between employers and employees. I think have to understand. So macam some cases like for example parents are sick or something on that day, and then they were like, okay, I think I need to work from the hospital. Contohnya, just to oversee the parent. I think it's something that employers should be able to But again, you're right. You correctly pointed it out. It's the sector also. You cannot be macam working retail or whatever and suddenly you want to work. I think it's a bit tough,
You
right?
work F&B, how you want to be
Yeah.
flexible?
Yeah.
Right? Because you need to be there to cook. Cannot be I cook outside, then I bring home. Right? So there must be a certain.
True.
We need to apply correctly. Certain
Yeah.
industry like my industry, power station. I cannot be remote controlling the panel. So that shift work, that one doesn't apply.
But isn't this dangerous then for the
It's
landscape?
actually so sometimes how we see it. So the challenge I think that employers feel it, and we also think sometimes employees won't take advantage because the government say by 1st December, employers are strongly needs to follow this. Employees can
Encourage
also
them.
request, right? This is where actually whichever companies that is unionized, get hold of the union leaders, sit down and discuss how we resolve it. Sometimes it's a fragmented issue. It is not something that is perpetual. So maybe we solve at that particular situation. After that, we go back to normal. Yeah, it depends on how enlightened your boss is. It then drives to how flexible can you make to the work.
So employer pun nak kena belajar how to move forward and how to adapt with the current landscape. And macam even if F&B lah, contohnya it's a long hour job, right? Maybe very long. So maybe if they are okay to compromise and maybe take 2 staff to handle 1 long hours, setengah-setengah contohnya and all that. Maybe we don't know. But of course, like I said, it can be a dangerous game because macam gitu then semua orang akan choose a job that is flexible and F&B so tak ada orang nak serve. You know what I mean? I think it's quite dangerous, but I don't know. We have to.
So it's actually both sides, right? Employees, today we know the demands of Singaporean want to go work. Does your company adopt flexible work arrangement? So to the employers, how do I then manage this one? To the employers, I should say, there are many ways to go around this one. This is just a guide. You adapt, see what you can. You need to explain the business model. I have my own personal experience because this challenge does not just affect F&B or those who are operating. Some even in the admin. To the extent people asking where is your office. So this is the demands. Employers must, what is tricky to them, if you are seen not to be flexible, because then workers can choose other companies.
Yeah.
So there's a balance that you have to make. So, but in order for all to have a common language, we need to understand. You go in today, the challenge, younger generation, you cannot just go in and expect what is the flexible work arrangement. Starting off a career, I strongly encourage that you learn as much as possible. The trade, the knowledge, before you start to ask for all of it.
But I think that's for you, right? But I think the younger generation these days, they don't look at that as much or they don't see it yet. I mean, not disrespecting any youth here, but I think when we interview the youngsters, right, I think the first few questions they ask is of course work from home. Right, work from home is the number one thing that they would definitely ask. And they keep on, for example, I even experienced this myself. So like interviews and then they were asking, can I just work from home fully? But then and the next question I said to them is, do you realize that the minute you keep saying that you want to work fully, do you realize that you are actually allowing me an opportunity to hire someone in Indonesia or in Malaysia? I don't have to hire you because you have proved yourself that this position doesn't require you to be in office every day.
So you point it correctly. So if Singaporean wants to find a job, they must know what they actually want. I want to work, right? I must go to work. There's no guarantee that I can work from home, right?
Yeah.
So that mentality must change. So even at labor movement, this is what we are championing. This guideline, it helps to show some flexibility, but you're not necessary to be so rigid. And even as employees or workers want to join your company, this is my guideline. The more you put restriction, like what you share, the less actually your opportunity to get employed.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to think through what you want.
Yeah.
You want a job? Get the job first. Along the way, you prove your worth. I'm very sure there are enlightened employers there who will be flexible when situations arise.
I think that is very true. I think we've all learned that we always have to give first and then demand. I think the kids these days have to understand that. You know, back then we are very like, you know, macam macam apa kita kerja kadang general worker dah kita kadang-kadang. So macam sampai midnight pukul 11 pukul 10 like we just work, but and the
So
thing
that is also flexible work arrangement, right? Sometimes you not necessarily work 8 to 5,
yeah.
right? At times, I don't think there are employers there who keep harping you, sending email late at night.
Yeah.
There will be some urgency where you need to work late at night. It's so flexible. No employers is actually checking you work 8 to 5:30.
That's true.
The Employment Act, when you are employed in your contractual terms, this is your working hours.
Yeah.
So flexible work arrangement, if you ask me, it's already in existence. It is how much you stretch that part.
Yeah, I think we have to see like you said lah. I think the employees have to be open and all that. But the employees also need to ask yourself what you want.
Yes, correct.
And I think as employers, it's quite tough actually. It is tough, you know, to manage everybody and to you know, to give everybody happiness as whatever.
It's never easy to manage people. I learned from one older generation muncul worker. Ya,
Pepatah Melayu.
Pepatah Melayu, bukan tak tahu mana lah kan, belajar daripada pekerja lama 10 tahun dulu. Kata apa, kadang-kadang jaga lembu ni lagi senang daripada jaga manusia. This is something from that part. But sometimes if you see, even religion, you want to be a leader, you kena belajar jaga kambing. Right? It's the same like that. So jaga orang manusia ni is never easy.
Yep.
We are trained in school. We are not trained in school to take care of people.
That's true.
Right? You are trained to work.
It's not in the books.
It's not in the books. You train about teamwork, but sometimes when they go out, you have a higher qualification, you tend to see that you are the boss.
Yeah.
That's a problem. Where is the knowledge of being teamwork together?
Yeah. So I always believe in like as a leader you need to be both book smart and street smart. I think you have to understand both. I think it's very important because
People smart.
yeah, you have to know how to read. And I think at the end of the day, you still cannot please everybody. You know, there will still be employees that are not happy with you. I think it's normal across any company. It's normal, you know. But I think we focus.
And
Yeah.
management can never agree at all times. Right? What makes us going is we respect each other's decision.
Yeah, I think
That
that's very
is why
important.
People don't see now. They say why union today is not adversarial like last time, because to us is we see what's the long-term gain.
Yeah.
There will be different in opinion in life.
Hmm.
If every union agrees to management, then they will say pro-management.
Betul.
If
Yep.
every management leaders agree to union, why are you pro-union?
Hmm.
So end of the day, put the things on the table, see what is the thing that benefit both parties. Because your workforce, what I every time tell my employers representative, whatever that I ask for your staff, it goes back to your staff. Not a single dollar goes back to the union.
Hmm.
You make your staff happy, you take care of your worker, the job is done. Half the battle is done.
Right.
Your breath just next to my soul. I wanna feel your breath without any rest. I wanna see you sing. I wanna see you fight. 'Cause you are the real beauty of human rights.
Yeah, I think that's true. But for your based on experience, right? What is your take like maybe tips for employers, especially handling the youth landscape now, yang macam, because nowadays, honestly, most youth, it's not they don't care. There's more opportunities outside. So they can stick to one job and they're like, okay lah, 6 months tak boleh, ciao lah. To them, I can just skip to the next job, But what is and it's affecting employers. So what is your like tips for employers handling
say
this?
this one benefit more.
Hmm.
Why? One, because nowadays we see employers, not many employers really appreciate long-serving workers.
Hmm.
And that is why even I myself actually advocate for younger generation workers to leave after 3 to 5 years to get experience.
True.
Right? Because if this is the only way. If let's say now today after 3 to 4 years I resign, you as my boss, you feel, hey, why are you leaving? The onus is on you to make sure that I stay. What can you provide? Right?
What are the opportunities and all
because we
that?
see a lot, it's not many actually being appreciative of those who are serving along.
Another stagnant lah, probably same
I
department.
in this industry, in this company for more than close to 30 years. So it's a choice that the individual has to make. But for the employer also the same. It's not about how much I can, if let's say outside I can get extra 100, if the employer can calculate this extra 100, I pay to you to make you stay, as compared to I get a new staff, you must see the timeline to train that staff.
That's true.
As compared to this staff that is leaving. So it takes both ways. Sometimes you go out, you may get extra pay, but your environment may not be the same.
Yeah.
This is why I tell my
The grass is always
members,
greener on
the
the other
grass
side.
is green, but what kind of green?
Yeah.
Light green, brownish green, different kind of green. Here you already know what green it is.
No, maksudnya you nampak hijau, tapi nampak je. Tapi you belum cross the bridge. By the time you cross the bridge, you thought, alamak, Yeah, probably. But okay, so I think it's a really good, it's very insightful. Just a short session with you is really quite insightful based on your experience. Tapi for those who doesn't know how to connect with union leaders, employers yang tak tahu how to connect, employees yang tak tahu how to connect, how do they find someone like you or union leader? Where do they go?
Actually, in my advice to first as worker there, it is not about you signing union membership at the auntie or uncle at fair price. And it's not wrong. Importantly, you must know who your leader.
How do they do?
Okay, you can, let's say you're working in industry, first you start to ask, who is are there any unions there? Right? You start as a worker, first I explain, are there any unions there? And if there's no union there, then you get left with no choice. Then you just got to sign up via the website, become a union member. And always remember, you don't have rep. Whenever you have a problem, you can just call NTUC. They will help you there.
So the audience, employers or employees, they can call.
Employers
check.
is to their advantage to have unionized, because then they have this lever to connect, to expand their business, to know what are the value add that union can bring on the table.
Right. So I think I hope the listeners get a little bit of
Today, employers, when they launch CTC, that is a value that both for employers and employees and the union. For the union and the employees, when this CTC is in, that is the value we put on the table for employer, right? Every business needs to transform. You want to transform. There will be employers that is shortfall of funds. So make use of this CTC fund, which the government is giving. NTUC is orchestrating this fund. But this fund doesn't come just about, because these are all taxpayers' money. Right? So when the union support you via this kind of grant, you got to make sure that the workers that goes through that training benefit from that. After 3 months, 6 months during the job, where there's some productivity gain, there's some saving, don't stinge to share. This is why sometimes when we give out the grant, we make sure there is a wage increase.
Right.
Yeah, it is fair, because now I give you up to 1 million a year.
Yeah.
Right? And cannot you take everything and then your workers, which is gone through the training, do the job, and then get better, becomes more productive.
Yeah.
Company does well, and company takes charge. It cannot be one way. Yeah, so both sides I add value.
So I think everybody, I hope the listeners understand better now via this podcast. It's a short podcast, but I think it's a very valuable one for both employers and employees. Get some insights on how a union leader runs their things, their day-to-day, where to find them, how to find them, how to connect with them.
It's not difficult to find union leaders. I think start as a union as organized. There's always a labor movement, NTUC there.
Yeah.
Within NTUC umbrella, there is 59 unions. that covers as much industry as possible. And this is just one limb of the NTUC. Then you have those who represent freelance and self-employed, Grab driver, national delivery, all these. Then you have those who are doing migrant worker. Migrant worker, why we the unions has to step in? Because these are the people that brings up the country. Who amongst us or our children today wants to go out, build houses?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Not many. So we need to take care of them as much as Center for Domestic Employees. Right? We have families now that you go out to work, somebody has to take care of children. Somebody has to take care of them.
Yeah.
And that's why NTUC play that role. And then you also have supporting small, medium employees, which I think quite similar to SMCCI.
Yeah.
That kind of businesses. This is a limb that actually supports this group. How we can connect you, come as a group, and then when the small and medium employees comes together and NTUC represent you, it's a bigger force. Imagine today if SMCCI goes in alone, as compared to all your business federation, which is similar to SMCCI, the government will hear differently.
Yeah.
Because it's a group of business federation.
Yep. I
So at
get it.
NTUC, we cover these small, medium employees. Let's say one company, 5. These are all small group, right? So you come answer that one, and then we will represent you accordingly.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's very it's a very good pointers that you shared, and I think SMCCI are more than happy to partner with NTUC in many areas, in any areas. Yeah, so we have been working very well with NTUC recently. Recently very active. I think thanks to Samad himself. He has been very involved with us recently. And I'm very thankful for Samad's time today to join us for our business lab. I think like I said to the listeners, if you guys want to know more, of course, boleh add dia lah dekat Facebook Abdul Samad. Busy Facebook dia, LinkedIn dia semua busy, but yeah, I think there's many good tips as well on his platforms. So I think we're gonna wrap up the podcast. I would like to thank you once again for being here. Very insightful, and I've learned a couple of things as well. And I hope the listeners, you guys pick up one or two as well. And continue tuning in to us. Follow us on the Business Lab, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. We are very active in SMCCI TikTok as well. So do follow us. I think we're trying to ikut pengedaran masa lah TikTok gini So I think thank you once again, and I would like to thank our venue partners again, ID, Entity and Craft by Tree, and thank you to 05 Corp. Any last words from you?
I think to the calling our Muslim community, I think those of you who want to start up business, I've seen how SMCCI has grown over the years, right? Use all these kind of platforms, support. We must come together as a community.
Betul.
If we come together, we unite, we will be strong.
Stronger.
Don't break up over difference of opinion, because this is natural.
I agree with that.
I always take an analogy of our hands. Our fingers are not the same size or length. But what makes our hands strong is because all is together. So SMCCI, continue to do your good work. To those who are starting a business, don't be shy to reach out to them. They will guide you accordingly. And understand nothing stops you from being a member, and then you get all the privilege.
I think that's a very good ending. Do not break up because of differences in opinions. We should come together, unite, and so we are stronger. So for employees and employees, there's NTUC, businesses, there's SMCCI. If you need media partner, there's Studio 5. So we are all here. Okay? Ken? With that, thank you so much, and Assalamualaikum.